Hello and welcome everyone to Refining Fire Chilies, cooking with chilies and spices, our latest episode. Today, we're going to do a quiche. Quiche is a great breakfast food. It's also a good snacking food. And if you make it good enough, you'll even eat it for dinner. So, my quiche is going to be with chilies, bacon, and two kinds of cheeses. And it's really easy to make. The first thing you need to do in any quiche is you have to make the mixture. Now, the mixture, if you look at a lot of recipes online, it's 4 eggs to 1 cup of heavy whipping cream, okay? Or heavy cream. Now, if you want a little bit of a lighter quiche, a little bit lower calorie, you can go with 1/2 cup of milk or half and half, and 1/2 cup of heavy whipping cream, or you can just go with milk if you want to. But if you really want that rich, deep flavor, you want to go with heavy cream. So in this bowl here, we've already whipped up our eggs and heavy whipping cream. Now, optional, if you want a little bit more flavor, you can add a little scoop, a tablespoon or 2 of sour cream. And you want to whip it with one of these little hand blenders. I mean, you can use a hand whip if you want, a hand whisk. They call it a whisk if you want. And if you want to do that, you can do that. But you use one of these, you're done in a few seconds, and just rinse it right away. You want to rinse it right away to get all the eggs and stuff off of it. Rinse it with hot water right away. Then just soap it up, put it in your dishwasher. You're good to go. So the first step we're going to do is we have a pie crust here. Now, this pie crust is just a cheap pie crust. Food Club pie crust. The store down the street from me, Piggly Wiggly, they have the Food Club. You can get the Pillsbury pie crusts, and there's 2 per package. Now, what you want to do with the pie crust is, before you start the process, you want to leave them out at room temperature for about 15 to 30 minutes at room temperature. Because otherwise, when you unroll the pie crust, because they come rolled up, they'll stick together, they'll fall apart. So you want to be able to unroll it gently, okay? And so the way to do that is get it at room temperature, get it out of the fridge, let it at room temperature for about 15 to 30 minutes, and then take it out of the plastic wax paper thing, and then unroll it, and then place it over your pie tin. Or if you have a glass pie tin, it wouldn't be a pie tin if it's glass, a glass pie bowl or pie dish. So what I've done with this is, before I put my pie crust in, I spray it with olive oil. Now, you can use butter, or like my mother used to do when she baked pies, is she used shortening. But you want to kind of lubricate it so the pie crust doesn't stick and doesn't burn. Then place your pie crust in the pie tin and center it, and then press it down, and then kind of fold the edges right here. Now, some of you will fold the edges super perfect and then take a fork and make little fork marks all the way around. If you want to do that to make things look prettier, fine. I just kind of fold over the edges a little bit, and then that's it. To me, it's going to go in my stomach, so it doesn't really matter. So your first step right now is to take the egg and cream mixture. Again, 4 eggs to 1 cup cream. And you want to put a little bit in the pie crust. Now that that's done, you can start adding your ingredients. The first ingredient we're going to add is going to be some chopped green chili. Now, you can use, this is roasted green hatch chili, and you can get this at a number of companies. You can get this at the Fresh Chili Company out of New Mexico. Chili Monster, I believe they're out of New Mexico. This is if you just don't want to roast your own. You can get it roast and frozen. And so we're going to add these chilies to here. Or you can chop up some jalapenos or some serranos. Now we're just going to kind of move that around so we get chilies throughout the whole mixture. You see what I'm doing right there? Okay. So now we have the chilies in. Now, the next ingredient we are going to place in here is going to be the bacon. Now, if you want to smoke some bacon or fry some bacon and chop it up, that's fine. Or you can get the little bags of Hormel already cooked, chopped up bacon in your grocery store or online, and it's already chopped. I recommend the Hormel. Some other companies, there's a lot of fat in there. It's not really lean bacon like this. So you can get the Hormel. This is the Hormel chopped bacon. Okay, we know bacon has a lot of salt and preservatives, so some of you might not want bacon, but I love bacon. So I'm going to add bacon into the mixture. Nobody I know that I'm friends with, or my neighbors, or my friends at church does not like bacon. So we're going to put all this bacon in there. You know, we're going to put it all in. Okay, bacon's in. So we're going to take the spoon again, and we're going to kind of like just gently slap it around, get the bacon into the mixture. Okay, so the bacon's in the mixture now. The next thing we're going to add is grated Parmesan cheese. Again, you can get some good, fresh, expensive Parmesan cheese in a block and you can shred it yourself. Or you can buy a bag of it already shredded. It depends. If you're a bachelor like me, you want to save some time because you're busy running your business and your household and your dogs and everything else. So you might want to buy the bag of already shredded. But I don't recommend the dried Parmesan cheese that comes on the grocery store shelf. It's got a lot of preservatives in it, and it doesn't have the flavor of grated Parmesan. So next we're going to add our Parmesan cheese. And there we go, the Parmesan cheese. The next thing we're going to do, we could have done it earlier, is we like to add, I like flavor in my food. So I like working with a lot of seasoning and spice blends. Even if the seasoning and spice blend's a barbecue blend, I might just mix it into my quiche or my eggs or whatever. It doesn't just have to be for barbecue. But this happens to be the Fresh Chili Company Hatch Chili Spice Blend. And you can get fresh chili, Hatch chilies for them and by the jar. You can get red or green, or you can get sauces from them. So what I'm going to do with this is I am going to sprinkle the seasoning in here. I could have done this in the very beginning. I mean, I think there's going to be enough flavor with the bacon, but I add some of that seasoning. The final thing I'm going to add to this, again, I'm going to like just gently sploosh this stuff down with the spoon, get it to blend in with the mixture. Now, again, the quiche, the base of the quiche is, of course, the pie crust, and then 4 eggs to 1 cup cream, or half and half, and you can add a little bit of sour cream if you want a little more flavor to the mixture. That's the basic. If you want to add broccoli, if you want to add carrots, if you want to add green beans, if you want to add okra, if you want to add ham, whatever you want to add, turkey, whatever you want, you can do. It's going to basically be the same quiche, but with different ingredients. This is a chili pepper quiche, so I used dry chili seasoning, and I used some chopped up roasted Hatch chili seasoning. But feel free to chop up some serranos and saute them in some butter, or some onions and roast, or some onions and roast them, or even some jalapenos, and add them as your chili mixture. It's a chili quiche. Now the final ingredient I'm going to add is some sharp cheddar. I like sharp cheddar. Sharp cheddar, you can find at any grocery store, no problem. So that's the final ingredient I'm going to add, is the sharp cheddar. Notice I'm wearing gloves when I'm putting all these ingredients in. It's not because I'm worried about stuff getting on my hands. It's just basic food safety. When you have basic food safety, less chance of spreading germs to other people while you're cooking, since I'm handling this stuff with hands. And again, I'm going to kind of like sploosh this down with the spoon into the mixture, if you noticed. Now, all the ingredients are in. So now the next thing we're going to do is we're going to take the rest of the mixture of the eggs and cream, and we're going to gently cover it up. And now we can just pour the rest in. Okay, there's one final step. We have preheated our oven already to 375 degrees, and we are going to cook the quiche for 45 to 50 minutes, depending on how hot your oven gets. I have an electric oven. I don't have a gas oven. Gas oven might be a little bit hotter. So you want to have your oven preheated, okay? And when you're moving this to the oven, you want to be careful because it's a liquid and it'll splash onto your floor and then you'll have a nice cleanup. So the final thing we need to do, we've cut some tin foil strips, 1 to 2 inches in width. And what are these for? These are to protect this outer edge of the crust that's not protected by a liquid. They will burn and get extra crispy if you don't protect them in the oven. So what we're going to do is we're going to take these foil strips, and this applies to any pie you bake. Okay, some foil strips. Don't worry about it if it gets in the mixture. That's not going to be a problem. Just take these foil strips and put them over the edge of the pie crust so it's kind of protected, and it will pretty much be the same texture as the pie crust that's covered with the liquid. So about 1 to 2 inches. So now our quiche is ready for the oven. So we're going to place it in the oven, and we're going to bake it at 375 for about 45 minutes. Again, we're going to do it very, very carefully because we don't want to splash this all over the floor. That would not be a good idea, would it, huh? And then we'll be back and we'll show you what the quiche looks like, okay? And now the quiche is done. And put it on this cutting board. There's one more step. You want to let the quiche rest for about 15 to 20 minutes, maybe a little bit longer. It'll slice up better. Otherwise, it'll kind of be a little mushy in texture. So you want to let it cool. So we're going to let it cool for about 15 minutes, and then we'll slice it, and then we'll show you what it looks like, okay? And now the quiche is rested for about 15 to 30 minutes. So we're going to remove the foil that we use to protect the edge of the pie crust, okay? And as you can see, the pie crust is nice and pastry looking. Not bad for a cheap pie crust. Like I said, you can make your own pie crust from scratch if you want. I'm not a baker. I've never made my own pie crust. Maybe someday I will, and then I'll share with you how I do it. But it's cooled, and you can see this isn't burned. Otherwise, this would be dark brown, okay? So this is what the quiche looks like when it's done. We're going to slice a little piece. Still a little warm. Again, if you don't let it cool, here's what it looks like. And if you want to get a view on the inside, again, 45 to 50 minutes. You don't want to go much longer than that. You could go 50 minutes. But, so how are we going to serve this? Well, we made some green salsa earlier today. We're going to put a little bit of that green salsa on here. And then, we got to get a fork. My goodness, we got to get a fork. You know what? We're going to use a plastic fork. Might not be too stylish. That's our quiche. It's ready to go. Again, if it cooled a few more minutes, it would be a little bit more solid. So, how's it taste? Well, I know how it tastes, but I'm going to try it anyway. It is good. It is delicious. Now, I don't like to do a lot of eating on camera because, you know, my dad was an Irish Catholic Marine and he used to get upset if I talk with my mouth full of food. and he wanted me to chew my food properly. So you won't see me doing much eating on camera. And it's for that reason that I respect what my dad taught me. And I don't think it's awesome to see somebody with a mouth full of food. I kind of think it's gross. But from now on in, I will taste some things, or you'll see me do videos where I'll have other people taste my food. Okay? So, this is Jim Duffy of Refining Fire Chilies, and this is the Chile Quiche. Chili pepper and cheese and bacon quiche. And the website's www.superhotchilies.com. I look forward to sharing more of my cooking videos with you and some other surprises that will be coming up this summer. So, you have a great day, and remember, My Little Pony relieves stress. Take care.